Interesting. Now, so you seem like the perfect prototype now in the world of Vince McMahon, maybe even Triple H as well. Your size, your stature. Has WWE ever reached out to you and said like, "Hey, let's just chit chat and see where we go from here"? Because you seem like the perfect person. You compared yourself with the Samoa Joe comparisons, often with fans given to you, but that seems like the easiest option. The WWE, like the Bronson Reeds, these the big men who come in and smash people. Has that ever opened up the door for you?
Yeah, I mean, like you going back to what you said earlier, WWE is a business, and
Yes.
um, they've been doing it for 50 plus years now, right, or 60 years, or something.
Mm-hmm.
Time. We'll just leave it at a long time. So they're the flag bearers for our industry, and so it all depends on what they want. Originally, my first tryout I ever had was in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and at that moment or at that time, six of us got pulled to the side, did some interviews, took some pictures, and then it switched like in a couple of days or so. It was like, okay, well, we don't want anybody over 30, um, and we don't want it, we don't want this or whatever. So I was like, all right, cool. Well, and at that time, NXT wasn't as huge as it
Right.
eventually became. I believe they just signed Kevin Owens at the time, and
Oh, okay.
Sam.
Wow. All right. So that's like
So
the first year of NXT on the W Network. So that's like, yeah, 2014. Yeah.
yeah, so they had all these like influx of like indie guys coming in, or bigger name indie guys. So they were just like, okay, well, we don't want anybody over 30, but then we make exceptions to the rules about this. And then like a couple of weeks later or a month later, there was rumors or like, okay, well, we don't want any more independent guys because we have too many or whatever. So
Right.
it changes, and that's totally fine. I can't be upset about that because it's their business model, and it's what they want to do with their company. So, yeah. So I didn't hear from them for a long time. Just so happened, right before the pandemic, 2020, I started getting phone calls from. I mean, I don't know if I can. Yeah, I could probably say because it's not anything huge, but like William Regal would call me. Uh, Brian Kendrick would call me and say, "Hey, we're trying to like, is it cool we pass your number to Canyon Seaman at the time?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I mean, I'm always open to talk to people, entertain talks or whatever. And then this was actually around the time when New Japan and I were figuring out a contract
Mm.
and contract situation. At the same time, AEW offered me a contract as well. So this is the first time I ever was like, oh my gosh, I felt like the new girl in high school where all
The belt, the ball.
yeah, all the guys want to be with me because I'm new. So it was really cool. I got really close maybe in the summer of 2021. I was FaceTiming Kenyon Seaman a couple of times. About I want to say like maybe June or July, somewhere around there. And it got pretty close. I got to hear what they offered, and at the end of the day, I mean, there was a story that came out. It was like at the end of the day where, um, I chose what I was doing as opposed to going after the money, and people were giving me a lot of grief for that. I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, I can make a great living being in Japan and doing a couple appearances here and there. I mean, it may not be like WWE The Rock money, but you know, I'm a I'm a very low maintenance kind of guy, so I don't need millions and millions of dollars. Although people are like, you're stupid for not taking it, but at the time, and the good thing about it is, I want to say about a few months after that conversation or a bunch of conversations with Ken Seaman is when he got fired, and and then the huge I don't want to say dumping of the roster happened. So I mean, looking back, I think I made a good choice because if I went there and, I could have been 6 months later, I could have been released and then go crawling back to another company for a job. So,
Yes.
and New Japan definitely took care of me during the pandemic. They didn't have to. I mean, we still got paid. So, uh, if they're loyal to me, I'm going to be loyal to them.
Wow, that's a good story, man. Because loyalty goes a long way with I think with a lot of people. And especially that the fact that you were somehow you read the tea leaves because bringing up the story of you're gonna come in, and then you're right about the dump of all these talents. It would seem like if you were a Triple H guy, whoever wanted, I don't know, it seems so weird. I've talked to a few people about that situation where it to them it was very obvious if you were a Triple H guy, you were getting dumped because they didn't want loyalty to another manager. They wanted you to be loyal to this new corporate entity that was going to run NXT, turning it into NXT 2.0. And I've talked to a few, and they're all like, yeah, it was very obvious that if you were a Triple H guy, you were out. So you being hired by his team would have been a red flag, a bullet on your head, being like, hey, a bullseye on your head, being like, all right, get rid of this guy, which is insane that you just dump talent because they're loyal to another manager. But I get it. If you, in any corporate entity, any job, any new manager that comes in wants to bring in their people. They're,
Right.
it's not something new. And I think that's a lot of times with these wrestling fans. I don't know where wrestling fans actually work. Do you work at a store? Do you work at a corporation? I work at a corporation. And guess what? I've seen it for 15 years. New manager comes in, they chop out the managers underneath them and bring in their own people. And this manager gets chopped out, and then guess what? Same thing. It happens over and over and over again. But man, was the money that the WWE offered the most money you've ever been offered, though?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.